I'm very pleased that the Asia House and Bagri Foundation are doing this literature festival. It's important, I think, to showcase the voices that aren't often seen within the so-called mainstream of literary endeavour in places like London, where you already have a very cosmopolitan literary community, people of various national backgrounds. An Asia House, and you have a very expansive definition of Asia from Turkey to Japan, I think would be the right forum to bring a lot of different voices and explain in many ways the pluralism and diversity that makes literature so exciting. Oh, the inspiration doesn't quite run out. One has so much one wants to say. The time has been a challenge, and my life has been demanding throughout my writing career. In other words, I've always had other work that has been the principal preoccupation. Writing has had to take second place. Nights, weekends, plane journeys, God knows when. And now that I'm an elected member of parliament from a very demanding constituency, finding the time and the space inside your head to write is very hard. Increasingly, it comes at night, because that's when after 11, not even the most indecent of your constituents should come thumping at your door, and you can write uninterrupted. But it's changed my behavioral habits from being an early bird who was most productive in the mornings to being a night owl who writes at night, just because that's one time I can be left alone. I don't have a single favorite word. I've been asked this question before, and I think in about the 7 times I've been asked it, I've given 7 different answers depending on the mood of the moment. I once jokingly said dictionary, but in fact I never look at one because I'd rather read a book and understand a word from its context than from a dictionary. I suppose pluralism, which I've just used, would have to be amongst my favorite words, because it talks about the multiplicity of human voices, human ideas, human experiences, countries, nations, ethnicities, all that, religious groups, you name it. And that pluralism is what makes our world such an interesting place. So yeah, I suppose that would be it. The Hindu Way is my most recent book, but in fact I've written a book called Why I'm a Hindu, which is actually a public political personality's take on his personal self-interrogation about the faith, as well as the political uses of the Hindu religion by the Hindutva movement, recent political controversies, and my take on it. Whereas what this one is all about, at the request of my publishers, is meant to be a somewhat more enduring, non-controversial, non-political work that explains my very liberal and eclectic view of Hinduism in a way that one can imagine sort of expatriate Indian grandmothers gifting to their deracinated grandkids over Christmas or whatever. I mean, that's the sort of idea, an introduction to Hinduism by somebody who's a quote-unquote modern, and certainly liberal, humanistic and largely rational individual who can explain to English language readers and young people why this religion is what it is, and why it's something worth belonging to and claiming allegiance to and practicing. So that's the Hindu way. There is no one Hindu way. There are multiple Hindu ways. And that's what makes the book, I suppose, a little different from the previous one. It's also got 100 rather fabulous illustrations. So there we are. Actually, they don't. I try and keep them apart with a firm hand, but one could argue that literature and politics both have in common the human condition. Literature seeks to help expand our understanding of the human condition. Politics seeks, I hope, to improve the human condition in the specificities. But in fact, both literature and politics, while depicting or dealing with a particular specificity, should deal with universal truths and principles that would echo and resonate around the world. For literature to be literature, it must illuminate the human condition. For politics to be effective politics, the solutions it finds for people ought to be, it seems to me, solutions that could, in principle, with necessary variations, apply anywhere around the world. So they're both compatible fields to be in.